having a conversation with Sharon Lechter's brain. How does that sound? Angela Totman, she is Sharon Lechter's right-hand person. Who is Sharon Lechter, by the way? She is of Rich Dad, Poor Dad fame, and Angela is awesome. She's a partner of Sharon Lechter's entity, and we're going to be learning how she thinks, meaning how Sharon thinks, and also how Angela Totman thinks. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thank you so much, Kenner. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you today.
I'm excited with it. You like how I rolled that out, her brain?
Well, I always try to set the expectation. I'm not a good Sharon Lechter, but I'm an amazing Angela Topman. So
There you go. There you go. So really quickly, why don't we get into it? What is it that you do that adds value to Sharon? And then what does Sharon do that adds value to all the people out there who are entrepreneurs? By the way, she's the one who really got me going as an entrepreneur. So why don't you go ahead and outline that?
Sure, I appreciate that. So Sharon and I are partners in a company called Pay Your Family First. We're a financial education and entrepreneurship training organization. So what we do is we work with people who are either interested in taking control of their personal finances, understanding how money works, or taking their financial position to the next level by buying, building, and creating income producing assets. And for a lot of people, that includes businesses. So we work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And the way that Sharon adds value, obviously, is providing her decades of experience leading global brands and helping people really understand how they can apply what she's learned in her career and how she's been able to create successful, scalable businesses and financial success and how they can apply it to their own story.
I like to say that and think that she's responsible for our community, really, because if it weren't for her, I'm not so sure that I would have gone down the path of being an entrepreneur. I mean, I was scared in itself, but when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I read a number of the books that she co-authored, etc. It gave me the confidence to be able to make that leap. So, and I've been able to affect a lot of people since 2006. So she indirectly is really responsible for my and you basically are responsible for my community, which I would, I've told her, thank you so much. And now I consider it an honor that, we're basically partnering with my community, bringing some of her resources, some of her thoughts into our community. And I'm so glad you're here. So I'm going to throw out, so give us a little bit about your background, because I think it's a very unique background.
Sure. Thank you so much. Well, I say the same thing. Actually, I always joke that Rich Dad saved me from corporate America. I had modeled what I thought was going to be my career path after a mentor of mine. And, my track was that I was going to become a CPA, work in public accounting, then transition to industry, climb corporate ladders, and create all the success I ever wanted. And then in my senior year of college, I had kind of become a little bit tired of the recruiting process, and I had done a couple of internships, and I became pretty convinced I was going to shrivel up and die if I had to work in a cubicle every day. So I had to really rethink what my plan was for my life. And around that same time, I received an email from the liaison at the business school at ASU at WP Carey saying that the Rich Dad Company was looking for an accounting intern. I had never heard of the Rich Dad Company. I had never read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I was completely unfamiliar with it. So I learned about it and I applied and I was hired, and I went from intern to I worked in their accounting department, and I had responsibilities ranging from reporting sales, managing inventory. Ultimately, I was responsible for international licensing compliance. So all of the companies all over the world that we licensed to be able to publish translations of Rich Dad Poor Dad, they reported to me. And we had a pretty sophisticated setup as it relates to that on how we licensed all of those works out. So it was a very, very incredible learning opportunity for me. I learned a lot about business, a ton about licensing, things I never would have learned working in public accounting in that context.
So, wow. I mean, obviously you've done well for yourself. I mean, it's amazing what you've done. And I mean, now you're a big partner. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So then explain a little bit more in depth about what Pay Your Family First does and is, so some of the people, the viewers and listeners, can understand a little bit more, because we're going to do a little bit of an offering at the end, but go ahead.
Yeah, so Pay Your Family First is really dedicated to supporting people who want to take control of their financial future and build generational wealth. So if you're familiar with Sharon, as you are and a lot of your community members are, from the Rich Dad organization, you may know that she's a big proponent of buying, building, and creating income producing assets. So a lot of people have assets, but they don't necessarily produce income. So they may hold a lot of equity in it, but they're not going to be paying their bills every month from that income. So you're financially free when the income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses, your monthly income. And that's what cash flow is all about, positive cash flow. And so Pay Your Family First really is dedicated to supporting people who are wanting to do that. So the first step is for people who, maybe not in this community, but other people who are looking to understand how money works at a greater level, understand what their financial behaviors are and their mindset. We have programs related to that to help people get really clear on what it is that's keeping them stuck and how they can stop digging the hole. And then we have programs also for people who have reached a level of success or they have financial stability and they want the information on how they can elevate their financial position, how they can start to look at building generational wealth. And for entrepreneurs, if you're familiar with the cash flow quadrant, which if your community that's familiar with Rich Dad, they'll know that the right side of the quadrant is investor and business owner. So entrepreneurship is a big part of what we teach for creating financial freedom.
Yeah. Before getting into the programs, because I think the programs are revolutionary, they're huge. Maybe explain a little bit more why my community should listen to her, meaning Sharon and even yourself, meaning what is it that she's done historically. I think she does some consulting with the government. Give us a little bit more of a kind of a bio, if you will.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I like to think of Sharon as like the mentor's mentor. I mean, she's done so many things, so many incredible things in her career. A lot of people, as you said, know her from Rich Dad fame, but she actually, even before that, had already built a global brand, a global company. She partnered up with the inventor of the children's talking books with the sound strip up the sides, and that was before the days of Rich Dad. Before that, she had published a women's magazine. So before stepping into the Rich Dad organization as a partner and the co-founder and the co-author of all the books, she had already created tremendous global success and had scaled a business to multi-million. And so I think that the thing that is so unique about her is that she has the distinction of not only being a part of and founding the top personal finance brand on the planet in the Rich Dad company. She also now has partnered with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, which is like the #1 personal development brand. There's nobody else that really has that claim to fame. That combined with the experience she's had over her years in business, working with people, building her own companies, advising people either as a board member or as a mentor, really has allowed her to build a legacy of helping other people create their legacies.
And she has that. She's definitely helped a lot of people. Her legacy speaks for itself. But I just want to, make mention, because I think some of the people might not know who she is, and they might have, learned a little bit along the way about, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So anyway, that was helpful. So then explain a little bit more about the programs, like from the beginning program all the way to the end. The tiny one for maybe a smaller investor is a W-2 and let's say employee, all the way to someone who's a big hitter, making millions a year, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so her Money Mastery program is an online program that is, I would say, the beginner money mastery or financial program. So for the person that's really looking to get a handle on what are their financial behaviors, a lot of times when people have a hard time progressing financially, it's because they don't even really know what it is they're doing. They don't know their current status. And so you have to get a handle on where you are now and what it is are you doing on a repetitive basis that is keeping you where you are. And so Money Mastery is really all about that. And it's understanding the basics of money. Mm-hmm. From there, we have the Play Big Movement course. The Play Big Movement course is about building those scalable assets. So how do you start to generate revenue from income producing assets? And that's part of that is from understanding and creating what expertise you have. We all have the ability to build our own assets. We all have knowledge and expertise. And a lot of people don't really give a full appreciation to the fact that intellectual property is a tremendous asset. It's one of the greatest sources of value that most big companies have right now. Not only that, but she has a program called Essential Components of a Successful Business. This is a more technical program that she and her husband, Michael Lechter, did together. And Michael Lechter is a very well respected internationally intellectual property and licensing attorney. The two of them together really architected the strategy that allowed the Rich Dad brand to blow up globally the way that it did. So, you saw all the purple books everywhere and the licensing across all the different countries. And so the two of them put together a program that was really about understanding the importance of a legal foundation. How do you actually scale? Understanding what your available resources are. A lot of times when people go into business, they think in terms of the deliverable, the thing that they're selling, but they don't think of all the layers underneath that really create the foundation that allow you to scale. So then they get to a point where they have success, but they don't know how to make it exponential. They don't know how to take it from there, or they haven't built the foundation that's allowed them to do that and to be successful. We have a lot of people who come to us and they're actually very successful, but they grew so fast and they didn't have the foundation for it. It kind of imploded a little bit. And so the Essential Components program is really about how can you lay the foundation for your business to scale. We have
Go ahead.
Oh no, we have a course on real estate. So creating wealth through real estate. And those are online courses. There's another course called Refire. So this is really about how can you, it's almost like a reinvention of yourself, or how you understand how to position yourself in the market. So who do you want to be? How can you position yourself that way? Again, how can you take your expertise and build an asset out of that? And then we have monthly programs. She has a daily ATM. It's a deposit from Sharon's ATM, Abundance Tips and Mentorship. Those are audio messages that you get every day from Sharon. We have a monthly Let's Talk Money program where she teaches every month. And then for people who are looking to really scale their business, she offers one-on-one mentorship.
Okay. What's that one-on-one mentorship like?
One-on-one mentorship is a really great combination of continuity of care, so to speak, from Sharon. So you're meeting with her regularly. We combine that with opportunities to dive at a deeper level with her and her team in our business retreat. So we offer business retreats every year, and a retreat is part of your mentoring program with Sharon. And then a private strategy day in Sharon's home with her. And we usually have her husband join us for that, at least part of it as well. In addition, we open up her library of courses, so there's additional supplemental materials. The people who, Sharon gets outreach from people all the time wanting introductions to people that she knows. The people who she reserves that for are the people that she's working with in her mentoring program. She knows what they're doing. She knows the care that they're going to give, any sort of referral introduction that she gives them. And then a lot of times our mentoring clients, they will travel with her to different events. And if she has opportunity to shout them out from stage or to bring them up on stage, she does. So it's just a really great opportunity to not only learn from Sharon over the course of a 12-month program, have access to her team of people during those special occasions throughout the year where you can learn from them as well, mastermind in a group environment, and then have access to her database and her people that help her and support her along the way.
Which would be huge. So, okay, so then give us a little bit of a kind of a look in, because you're her brain, look into her brain. So what are some concepts that you haven't mentioned that can help me as an entrepreneur, that can help, let's say, a real estate investor who's making, let's say who has 10 properties, but they want to take it to the next level. They might be a fix and flipper, some long-term holds, having a few properties all over the place. What are some concepts that you think can add value to an entrepreneur in that case?
Well, two major things that Sharon teaches and that we work with clients on in our programs are, number one is the power of association. And so this is why when you work with Sharon, she opens up her network of people and she will make introductions where she can, because she understands the power of association. So what that means is, who do you not currently have in your network that will help you solve a problem or serve a need for somebody else, where you're combining your collective talents, you're combining your collective networks and your skills and your resources for the greater good, basically. And so a lot of us, when we are in a place where we're stagnant, it's because there's just maybe one other person we need to add into our network, or somebody who we haven't met yet who has access to something that, combined with us, we can bring greater value together to the public or to the people that we want to serve. So that's the first thing. The other thing is Sharon teaches solve a problem or serve a need. So if you're an investor out there, for example, and you've been, doing fix and flips, what problem are you solving? What need are you serving? If you are trying to get to the next level, you might need to elevate whatever that problem that you're looking to solve or need that you're serving is. So those are two key components that Sharon, and she builds them into all of her teachings. And there are two major things that we work with our clients on as well.
Yeah, to your first point, I know that we're a result of those around us, and I know that she hangs out with some big hitters, and just getting into her circle would be a big deal because she knows some really big players, and that would be a huge thing. And then you're right, serving, others, and the solution. I mean, those are two really good points that I would think she would be really, really big at, since you're her brain. So tell us a little bit more about kind of what you're doing, because I think you have some unique things going on as well.
Definitely. I mean, I've had a tremendous opportunity, obviously, to learn a lot along the way. I mean, Sharon and I have worked together for 23 years now. We started back at the Rich Dad Company in 2001. So it's been a great ride. And the things that we do together, in addition to Pay Your Family First, she and our partners together in a real estate company. So I'm a licensed real estate agent. And so we're part of the same organization. And, Sharon supports, I do coaching as well. So she supports my coaching efforts. The thing that I think makes us a great team is because Sharon offers her mentorship, and she is an amazing visionary. So when it comes to having that vision and the strategic growth of an organization, she's incredible at that. And then I have the ability to be a little bit more in the weeds and think about the tactical side of things and how to be accountable in what those plans are. And I think that's why we complement each other so well.
Yeah, I'm assuming her minimums are a little bit higher than yours. No offense. I'm assuming that the buy-in's a little bit higher. So what's it like? Meaning, what's it like? Do you specifically for one-on-one clients? Do you take them in at lower levels? What's that like?
So the clients that I work with versus the ones that are working in her mentorship program, they're looking for more, like I said, of that strategic, visionary kind of scale side of things. Whereas the people that I work with, they have a plan in place. They just aren't quite sure. They're not hitting their stride. There's something that's stopping them. There might be a mindset piece of it. Accountability is more of an issue as opposed to strategy and vision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and let's go back a little bit because I guess we're going to the lower level. So I think you said there's an online component, so you can meet with her or meet with her once a month. What exactly is that looking like?
Yeah, so that's her one-on-one program where you connect with her. Most of her clients are all over the world. So when you meet with Sharon, most clients meet with her via Zoom. And if you happen to be in the Phoenix area and you're in Sharon's one-on-one mentoring program, you absolutely can meet with her in person. But just from a geographic standpoint, most people will connect with her online. And, that, like I said earlier, we offer that in a 12-month cycle. So that is a program, that occurs over the period of 12 months where really the goal is to shape the strategic vision of your organization and get you to the point where you are better able to scale. And so what that means is new revenue streams or being able to amplify or accelerate existing revenue streams. A lot of the people we work with, there's a little bit of cleanup that has to be done from a structural standpoint. So do they have their IP protected properly? How are their organizations if there's more than one? Because most entrepreneurs that we work with have more than one company. How do they play with each other? How do they interact? Are all the legal things that they need in place of that? We don't offer legal services, but again, she's grown enough global brands that she can say, you need to meet with your attorney and take care of this part of it.
Yeah, I understand. I think you and I are going to chat, and I think we're going to offer something in another segment because I believe in what she's doing, and I want my community to even benefit even more so. So I think that we're going to put something together so it's going to benefit those who are watching, listening, and part of our community. Because hey, if our people that we're dealing with can get bigger and better, that also helps us to get bigger and better. And I think that I'm excited about this partnership, and I'll construe it as a partnership because people who are in our community, either teaching or part of it learning, we're all partners. We're trying to grow.
It's the power of association.
That's exactly right, and I'm excited. We have over 500 people who are part of our community, and if we can open their ears, open their eyes to what it is you guys are doing, and they get bigger, society gets bigger. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. We all get stronger, and then we can help more people together.
That's exactly right. So you mentioned something about you being an agent or a realtor. What exactly is the deal there?
So I've been in financial education my whole career. I've taught financial literacy, in the community, out in the public, at the college level. And so it's been a big part of my own personal growth and my career. And a few years ago, I decided to add a real estate license as part of what I'm able to do to work with people who either want to build wealth through real estate investing or people who are looking to just make a change in their own personal situation related to their home. So I work with first-time home buyers, I work with investors, I work with people who are upsizing or downsizing. I work primarily by referral and for people within my network. Obviously always super honored when somebody refers me to somebody. But, I think the thing that differentiates me is because I do have that financial education background. My goal is to take a little bit of the emotion out of the home buying process and have it really be a decision that you can make with confidence and that you're well informed, that you're making the right decision for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So, and how does someone get a hold of you if they want to buy a house in Phoenix, or they're an investor, they want to buy some real estate in Phoenix?
So I'm really easy to find on Instagram. It's AZ Homes with Angela Totman. You can also just Google me and I'll come up. My website is AZ Homes with Angela as well. So pretty easy to find.
And then let's say someone wants information on, Pay Your Family First or any of the other programs that are offered by Sharon Lechter and her partner.
So you can go to SharonLechter.com. All of Sharon's programs are offered right there. Her one-on-one mentoring program is an application process. So that's something that we don't have an online sign up for, but there is a page on her website. If you click on the mentoring page, you can link right to her application there, or you can reach out to us, info@SharonLechter.com by email, and we can connect with you that way.
And just in case, how do we spell Sharon Lechter?
Sharon. Last name is Lechter.
Awesome. Anything else that you'd like to explain to the viewers and listeners out there that we haven't gone through that maybe can add some value? Kind of a parting shot that you think can add some value?
Well, I just really strongly believe. I mean, Sharon and I have worked together for a long time, obviously, and I really strongly believe that no matter where you are in your financial journey or your entrepreneurial journey, we have something that can support you in that process. And we have not just the how-to part of it. So much of why people get stuck is more related to their mindset than anything else, and behavior patterns. And that's one of the reasons why I love so much the content that we've created, because we address both sides of that. You can, if you have something that is stopping you, a mindset issue, you can overcome that for a short period of time. But ultimately, it ends up rearing its ugly head again. So until you address the mindset piece of it, it's going to be very hard to have sustained success over multiple different initiatives. And we really address that part of it.
It really is true, because I was afraid to be an entrepreneur. I was afraid to take that step and then kind of the next step to do something, and it was a mindset. And I was able to, semi-retire pretty early when I was 40. And it was all based on, just changing my mindset, really putting my mind to the belief that, yeah, I could do whatever X is. I could retire early, or I could become an entrepreneur, or I could, do an asset protection group, or whatever the case is. It really is a mindset. And I think by reading some of her writings, I think it does help. It does help with that mindset shift, if you will.
And a lot of times people will ask me, because I've known her for so long, what's it like to work with Sharon? And the easiest way I can answer that question is if you've ever heard her speak, or you've seen an interview with her. And I mean, she's very warm. She is humble. She is clear in her instruction, and she's not dictatorial. I mean, she really has a heart for educating. And so if you've experienced that from just what you've seen of her in a public setting, you know what it's like to work with Sharon. I mean, she is the same person behind the camera that she is, when we're going back and forth between each other's offices, just chatting about what we need to get done that day.
Yeah, you could tell she's nice. She's a really nice lady. I'm sure she cares about money to a certain extent, but I don't think she's in it for the money. I think she really wants to help others to succeed. And I think that her track record has indicated that, which I think that's a huge, huge deal with respect with her. And I think that, people will see that pretty quickly while working with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, wow, it's been awesome. I'm so glad we chatted. If anyone has any questions, go to the website that you mentioned, or vastsolutionsgroup.com. We're way, way, way willing to back this scenario, this partnership, without a doubt. If you have any questions, you can info@vastsolutionsgroup.com, info@vastsolutionsgroup.com. We're going to roll out some type of partnership and some strategic alliance that's going to help, as I mentioned, all those people out there. And once again, this is Ken French talking. This is Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Again, thank you very much. It's been awesome, Angela.
Thank you so much, Kenner. It's been great chatting with you, and I appreciate the opportunity to connect here with your community also.
You better believe it.